could it be? It is!
That's the face of somebody who wants to be a champion.
Another World Championship qualifier for Shelley Jenica.
Cornwall goes up to her. Oh, won't relinquish. It's going to be one of the greats.
Hello and welcome to the nation's capital for the Canberra Field and Track Classic. We haven't been here since 2021. It's great to be back. David Colbert alongside Tamsin Manu. Tamsin, there was an addition to the exclusive club as World Indoor Champion overnight with Nicola Oleslagers. It was fantastic.
Wasn't she brilliant in that high jump? It was a great competition, but she got the win and another Australian World Indoor Champion. So fantastic by Nicola.
Plenty of more action to come from Glasgow. We're looking forward to that. What about tonight? We've got some great events on the program.
Fantastic events, but I'm really looking forward to our teenage stars that have been such superstars so far this season. Claudia Hollingsworth and Peyton Craig in that 800 metres. And of course, Tori Lewis, she broke the Australian record on this track. Can she go faster again?
Women's 800, you still hold the meet record here. Will it be broken from that epic meet in 2000? On the field, men's javelin, women's triple jump will be the two feature events, so we're looking forward to both of them. Joining us trackside tonight, Nathan Breen is going to be doing all of our interviews. Breeny, conditions, perfect.
Yes, Dave, perfect conditions down here. In the previous events, there's been some tailwinds, plus 1.3s. It's a bit of a crosswind now, but like the ACT Championships, it's perfect for our sprinters. All our sprinters is back. Who can forget Tori Lewis, 11.10, where she set the new Australian record. We've also got Peyton Craig in the men's 800. It's perfect conditions, basically every event up until 800 metres. And we've got a 1,500 as well. Very much looking forward to fantastic conditions here. And we've got most of the nation's best looking to produce some very, very quick times. And the conditions are going to lend themselves to some high quality performances at the Chemist Warehouse Canberra Track Classic.
Thank you, Nathan. Looking forward to your work trackside. It's great to be back here, as we mentioned, and remember that magnificent meet here in 2000 where we had 19 Olympic A qualifiers, 10 B qualifiers. Tamsin, you ran your personal best. Kathy Freeman, Melinda Gainsford Taylor and Lauren Hewitt's had some big battles. Jumping Jai Tarima, it was all happening, and it's great to be back here. Conditions are pretty good, really. 27 degrees at the moment, and that breeze maybe just needs to settle down a fraction. It's going to be tough for these 400-metre hurdlers, which will kick us off as they head down the back straight. But otherwise, the conditions are pretty good.
Conditions are great, and we've seen a few races happen before now that have been personal bests, which is always a good sign for athletes that are watching on and they're warming up. If they see other athletes doing great performances, they know that the track's fast, the conditions are good, the flags have dropped at the moment, which is perfect signs for this women's 400-metre hurdles.
Here's the menu for the Canberra Field and Track Classic. It's the men's and women's triple jump combined, women's 400 hurdles, women's 800. Claudia Hollingsworth will be the featured athlete there. Good para-athlete contingent going around today. Men's 100 ambulant. We've also got a couple of wheelchair races as well. And then women's 400, Ali Beer, women's 1,500, 100 metres. Tori Lewis, of course, set a national record here on the Australia Day long weekend. Men's 800 will finish us off. That's a good menu. Tasty.
It's a fantastic menu, and you've mentioned a few of the teenage sensations that Australian athletics has produced this season so far. Claudia Hollingsworth and Peyton Craig in those 800s is going to be brilliant, but this women's 400-metre hurdle certainly is going to be one to watch, with Sarah Carley, the Olympian, who hopefully will have a much smoother run into these Olympics than she did leading into Tokyo.
So here is the lineup for the women's 400-metre hurdles. From the outside in lane 8, National Championships bronze medalist from New South Wales, Brodie Mate. In lane 7, from 3 personal bests this year, PB by 3 seconds in fact, the Victorian Marley Wilkinson. In lane 6, World University Games 4x400 metre medalist from New South Wales, Jen Cowie. In lane 5, Olympic and World Championship semi-finalist from New South Wales, Sarah Carley. In lane 4, World Under-20 Championship semi-finalist from New South Wales, Isabel Guthrie. In lane 3, Australian Junior Champion, coached by Maddie B here in Canberra, Alicia Bennetts. And in lane 2, 5th in the National Championships last year, coached by the doyen, Mike Hurst, it's Scarlett Pye from New South Wales. Women's 400 hurdles, ready to go. So Tamsin, it should be Carley in 5. First start this season for her. Wilkinson, the danger on the outside. She's had a great season already. 3-second PB. She's improving with every run. So away they go. From the outside, it's Mate, followed by Wilkinson, who's begun strongly. Then back to Cowie. How's Carly gone? She's gone off pretty strongly. Bit of a gap back to Guthrie, then Bennett's, and on the inside, it's Pye as they go down the back straight. Now, this wind is starting to pick up as they go down there, and you can see that Sarah Carly really leaning forward as she stretches down the back straight.
Yeah, Carly's working really hard into this 5th and 6th hurdle, you can see, but she's hitting her stride pattern really smoothly. She's coming off the hurdles well, and it looks like Bella Guthrie on the inside of her is also working through the race well.
Having a good run, so as they come around with 3 to go, and it's Carly ahead of Wilkinson on the outside, and Cowie and Guthrie in the middle, but it's all Sarah Carly as they come down over the penultimate. Now the final barrier starts to loom, but she's cleared it well, and it'll be Sarah Carly who comes down to the line here ahead of Wilkinson. The time, pretty good, 55:38, unofficial time on the clock for Sarah Carly.
Well, it's incredible first up run by Sarah Carly. She is going to be ecstatic to run a 55.3 as it says on the clock at the moment. We'll see what it gets rounded down or up to, but 55.3, she looks sensational down that back straight. She was strong. She would have worked hard into the breeze down those first few hurdles and the back straight, and then she's come into the front straight and really held her form so well. She was really smooth coming up to the 9th hurdle. Cleared the 10th hurdle well and ran strongly through the line, which shows she's done some good training over the winter months after going to the World Championships in Budapest last year, where she had come off fresh off a sub-55 second run personal best, and was a little bit disappointed with those World Championships because she knows that she is a contender for the finals and wants to make semi-finals at major championships, but will be looking to push to that global championship.
So 55:37, the official time for Sarah Carly. Another personal best for Marley Wilkinson, 56:53, continues her great stretch of form so far in the 2024 season. And Isabella Guthrie in 3rd place, 57.92.
Well, we've got some real strength in this 400-metre hurdles. Isabella Guthrie, still really young. She went to those World Under-20s. She was in the semi-finals and fell when she was going so well at the latter stages of that race. So she's a talent coming through, and she finished 3rd there. Marley Wilkinson, what a find. Having an incredible season, a real breakthrough in 2023, and then 2024 she's just really taken it forward with that 400 metres second placing in Adelaide over the flat with 53.5, and look at that, 56.53. Great season for her, but Sarah Carly's going to be really happy to get her Olympic campaign underway with a 55.37. That's looking good for a fast time.
So confirmation of that women's 400 hurdles. Carly 55.37, personal best for Wilkinson in 2nd spot. Guthrie, and all the way through down to Jen Cowie with season's best. Scarlett Pye in 7th spot. Women's triple jump in operation in front of the grandstand here, the RAS track in Canberra.
It's Claire Roberts from the ACT on the runway.
20 years of age, likes running in the pros as well. We'll be heading off to Central Park at Stawell.
Gets the white flag, which first jump, you want to get that white flag so you can build on it for the next rounds that are coming up. Here's the start list.
So the ones to watch here, Owusu and Cuba have had some big battles already this season. Owusu winning in New Zealand. Kayla Cuba getting the win in Adelaide, personal best of 13.77. And then the youngster, Tiana Boras, the World Junior Championship bronze medalist, the World Under-20 Championship bronze medalist, down the bottom of the list with her personal best of 13.30.
It's exciting to see women's triple jumpers. You know, it's been an event in the past where Australia hasn't been as strong with depth in it. I think that's fair to say, don't you think, Colbert? Whereas at the moment, there's 3 genuine athletes and others coming through that have potential to do great things in this event, and we really need to get an Olympic Olympic representative. And could it be this athlete? Desley Owusu, she's the national champion from last year.
Well, they've had a big battle, and this is what will help them improve, having two athletes going head-to-head every week, and the youngster, Boras, right behind them, swapping that victory, Cuba in Adelaide, 13.77 to Owusu, 13.63, and then they went to New Zealand, and Owusu won with 13.64 ahead of Cuba. Andrew Murphy and Owen Jones, the coaches of the two athletes, collaborating as well, so that's good to see.
Well, Kayla Cooper is coached by Stacey, and of course Owen Jones coaches the youngster Tiana.
Here's Mayako Takashima, I should say, of Japan, the 24-year-old. Now she's been to the World Championships. 13.82 is her personal best, so she's got the best, equal best PB in the field. Nice transition through the phases too for Takashima.
Unfortunately a foul, being given the red flag.
A lot of debate about that, Tams, and the takeoff zone being contemplated by World Athletics. I seem to be the only one that thinks it might be worth trialling, other than, of course, Lord Coe himself and John Ridgen, who are the bosses. But I think it's worth trialling for the championships from an entertainment perspective. What do you think?
Well, I want to know why, because you obviously spent a bit of time on the long jump runway, why an expert like you would say that it is a good thing.
I'll tell you about that after we watch Kayla Cuba on the runway. Women's triple jump opening round. Get some distances for you as soon as we can. And personal best the same as Takashima, 13.82. Coached by Stacey Tarima. And that looks like a good jump to open things up. Foot perfectly placed on the board. I do understand that Stacey Tarima has made it here, but it wasn't an easy thing, Samson. Apparently his car might be on the side of the road about 1.5 km from the terminal in Brisbane. And for the first time in his life, he's run more than 60 metres.
I'm not quite sure I was meant to tell you that story, but yes, had to run 1.5k to get to the terminal and literally ran onto the plane as the last passenger to get on. But that was a fantastic first up jump by Kayla Cuba. You know what looks different with Kayla? It looks like her speed on the runway has really improved. She looked very fast then.
13.78 is the distance. So that's a meet record for Kayla Cuba. Plus 1.8 the wind. Here's Boras now, the youngster. And she runs through.
She just looked like she has a lot of power on that runway and just was a little bit out of position when she hit that takeoff foot. A little bit lower probably than she would want to be. You want to be tall through the hips as you hit that takeoff board.
So 13.78 leading in the triple jump. We head back to the track. This will be one of our feature events on the program here in Canberra. Women's 800 metres. Here's the start list, Tamsin, and it's quality.
There's a lot to look forward to in this race. Georgia Griffith, she's a fantastic 1,500 metre runner as well, made that World Championship final in 2022. Coming back from a hard 2023 with a lot of injuries. Good to see her back out racing. Claudia Hollingsworth, the junior, is the one that we want to see how she can go after she's broken that magical 2-minute barrier at the Maury Plant meet. And I'm still interested to see if Benderi can get her tactics right, because we know with her 400 speed and the way that she's so smooth and beautiful off the ground, she's got a fabulous 800 in her, and we're just waiting to see it. Another one to watch will be Imogen Barrett, who's coached by Craig Mottram, went to college in the USA and has been in great shape as well with a 1,500 metre personal best in Adelaide.
Introducing our field for the women's 800 metres. We'll start on the outside in lane 8, representing Victoria World Under-20 semi-finalist Sarah Billings. In lane 7, we've got our pacemaker Aisha Shave and also from Queensland, Australian Championship finalist Leah Simpson. In lane 6, from Queensland, 3 times NCAA finalist Imogen Barrett. In lane 5, representing Victoria, the Tokyo Olympian Bendera Aboya. In lane 4, the 18-year-old from Victoria, under 20 Australian record holder over 800 metres and 1500 metres, the winner in Adelaide and in Melbourne, Claudia Hollingsworth. In lane 3, Olympic and World Championship finalist from Victoria, Georgia Griffith. In lane 2, the 18-year-old from New South Wales, the Australian All-Schools champion, Taisa Buchanan. And in lane 1, the 2017 Australian champion returning to the sport from New South Wales, Lara Roff. Women's 800, 2 laps. Tamsin Manu, the meet record holder.
I hope they break it.
So what will Aboya do here? As you mentioned, Tamsin, she's been fierce. She's been a bit too fast. The pace they're looking at here is, I had it somewhere. I'm not sure, actually.
57 and a half.
Away in the 400, and the pacemaker shave has gone to the front pretty strongly. They did scramble to get one, so she won't want to go out too fast, and it's Billings who leads the way. Hollingsworth moving through the field. Aboya a little more circumspect. This is interesting from Aboya. She's going to just sit behind Hollingsworth as they go down the back straight. On her outside, Leah Simpson. And that's interesting as they go through the first 200.
Well, obviously the pacer is a little bit inexperienced in this. She's gone out a little bit too fast and they'll catch up to her quickly. So hopefully when they do, if she's a little bit tired, she'll jump off the track. But it's the 3 training partners that are up in those top 3 positions. If you take the pacemaker out of it, you have Benderi and Claudia leading, and they train in the Craig Mottram squad, and so they know their each other's abilities, obviously. So I think this is a smart move by Benderi to sit right behind Claudia, because she knows that she's in shape, and if she's going to run sub 2, she'll be right there with her.
So just a touch over the 58 seconds as they go through the bell. Hollingsworth likes to run from the front. Aboya, then Griffiths has moved up next to her. Sarah Billings, just a gap back to the former semi-finalist at the World Juniors. Imogen Barrett's got a bit of work to do at the moment. She's starting to move her way. She's in the green uniform in about 6 spotters at the moment as they head down the back straight. But Hollingsworth, Tamsin, she likes to be in front, but she's having to push into the breeze here and do all the work.
She's definitely doing all the work, but she's strong enough to run it like that. She's done it like that since she's been a junior. But Benderi Aboya is running a very smart race, and she looks good. She's right on her shoulder, and they look to be making a bit of a gap on Georgia Griffith. So
they're going to come around into the stretch, into the straightaway, 100 metres to go. Hollingsworth's been superb this season, yet to be troubled over 815, and this is where she does her best work. Aboya not done with yet. Can she rise and challenge Hollingsworth? Hollingsworth is in front. Aboya tries her best, but it's not going to get there. Hollingsworth wins again. And the time is fast, super fast. 1:58.83, if my eyes don't deceive me. 1:58.83. Tamsin, finally, your meet record has been broken.
What a brilliant race. That was absolutely sensational. Hard way to run it from the front. Claudia Hollingsworth had to do all the work because the pacemaker unfortunately couldn't help her much in that race. But fabulous, fabulous to also see her training partner, Aboya, run that way. It was brilliant. We have 2 great, fantastic athletes that have run a fast time and well deserved.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is an Olympic qualifier.
Hopefully we've got 2.
Olympic qualification for the 18-year-old Claudia Hollingsworth. 3rd fastest time ever by an Australian. The meet record, that is wonderful.
Absolutely brilliant. I was speaking to her parents who have come up to watch their daughter Claudia run. We could have lost Claudia to AFL. She was originally in that sport, and I remember seeing her run in Perth in a schools event where she was just fantastic, and thank goodness Craig Mottram's got a hold of her and she's staying with track and field.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 2nd place, Benderi Aboya, Olympic qualifying, yes. 1:59.01.
Unbelievable. Well done. 2 Olympic A qualifiers. Well, it's just an Olympic qualifier these days, isn't it? But that is brilliant by the 2 athletes. Fantastic by Claudia. She's been in great shape all season. But Benderi's just, you know what? She stayed patient. She's believed in her ability. And even though the 2 races before this one have gone different ways where she went out too fast and she held it back in Adelaide, the pace in the first lap. By being brave and doing that, she's been rewarded by a fabulous race here and an A qualifier. And it was brilliant by Sarah Billings, also behind her, who ran sensationally to get a personal best of 2 flat 0.55. And Georgia Griffith will be really happy to be back in 2 flat form as well with 2 flat 0.89. Wow.
Well, we have seen an absolute ripper in the women's 800 metres. I can't see Nathan Breen. He's down there somewhere. I think he might have them with him. He does. Thumbs up. Let's go down to you, Nathan. Claudia, what a great run. Fantastic.
Well, we talk about the teenage sensations here. We saw Tori Lewis, we're seeing Claudia. They just keep coming. Talk us through what gives you this confidence. You've just got an Olympic qualifier, Australian records. They just seem to be going like it's a training run. How'd you feel the first lap? 58.0. But how do you do it?
I don't know, just the training and the prep we put into it and just staying calm before the race. And like such a good track, good weather, and the atmosphere is good, and just stay as relaxed as possible until the last 100 and really try to see what we have left.
So 300 to go, you're in the mix. Tell us through, what are the mental cues you're giving yourself? Because you just, for your age, you just seem to have that wisdom about you that it's very rare to see in a junior.
Yeah, I mean, just really being in tune with your body and knowing how you feel. But a bit of a plan going into the race to just really make sure that between 400 and 600 is the strongest part of the race. So I just really tried to stay strong in that point and keep my form as much as I can, whilst sort of getting a feel for where the other competitors are and how my body's feeling, and then just holding back that little bit to make sure I had some more on my legs for the last 100.
Well, you're tactically very astute. Ladies and gentlemen, the next Olympic qualifier in the women's 800 metres. The records keep going. Put your hands together for Claudia Hollingsworth. She has just set the track alight here in Canberra. I think you've got a couple of fans waiting for you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Run. When you look at the Australian all-time list, Trina Bissett 157.78 is the Australian record, which she's lowered on a number of occasions. Abby Caldwell 158.48, and now Claudia Hollingsworth, third fastest all-time meet record Australian. Under 20 record Olympic qualifier for the top two, and then Billings 2:00, and look at the 2:00s. That's a fantastic race.
Do you know, there she is with her mum and dad. Brilliant. I was speaking to her mum and dad, as I said before, and they actually moved to France when Claudia was very young, about 7 or 8 she was, and they spent a year there just living near the Alps and doing lots of hiking, and she still remembers it apparently. So, I mean, second, there's Craig Mottram, her coach, giving her a big hug. You know, if her first Olympics are in France, her second home, it's going to be an absolutely special occasion. 18 years of age, and she's just run 158. That is so incredible. But there's so much to like about that race as well. I'm really excited that Ben Derry's finally got that 800-metre race right as well. She had the perfect pacemaker in Claudia to sit behind and get some confidence in her legs for the 800. And Katrina Bissett isn't here because she's at the World Indoors, and she's made the semi-final overnight for that as well. What depth. It's just brilliant.
There's a couple of things in that race that I loved. A, she had to do all the work herself, Tanza, but Claudia finishes strongly.
Yeah.
And as you know, you're a fantastic 800-metre runner. You're one of the world's best over 600 metres. You'd love, but the last 100, you've got to be able to finish really quickly. And Claudia can. And Ben Derry can as well, because she gets to that point in the race without wasting any energy because she's such a beautiful mover.
Yep.
They are going to be, I think, great championship races as well.
And I love that they train together because that's really going to help them bridge that gap to Paris Olympics where, you know, they get there and they're not overawed by running with 157 runners because they're training together all the time and doing those hard sessions.
Well, they had some debate about coming to Canberra. You know that this has always been a great place to run. Slightly at altitude, can be a little difficult, a little breezy, but that was tremendous. So we move on to the next event, the men's ambulant 100. They do use the baseline system to work out the point score here. So when it was held in Melbourne, it was the White Tiger, Chad Perris, who won the race, but our 4-time Paralympic gold medalist James Turner won the event in terms of the percentage of the world record. We'll just concentrate on the race for this. And here is the start list, a range of functional abilities from each athlete. Chad Perris, visually impaired T13. James Turner, cerebral palsy T36. A couple of T47s as well. But the Tiger, he's home track here in Canberra.
He'll be pretty excited and pumped up. He's already had a run here this afternoon, just a warm-up run pre-meet. Chad's in great shape, so I think it's going to be one eye on the clock for Chad as well as seeing how he goes against these athletes. Also, Anthony Jordan's in that race. We see Claudia being swamped by young fans. Anthony Jordan, Tony Marsh, trained athlete in Victoria. He went to Birmingham at the Commonwealth Games whilst he was still in high school. And Jaden Page, 19 years of age, trains with Seb Kosminski, and you know, here on this track, it's his home track. He went to the Paralympics at just 16 years of age. He won that silver medal in the Commonwealth Games when he was 17 as well. So Jaden Page is one to watch also, and James Turner, of course. You know, talk about Claudia being an AFL player and switching to track and field, which we love to hear because track and field is the premier sport. James Turner was a Paralympic soccer player before turning to athletics and won that 800-metre gold medal in the 2016 Paralympics in a world record time. And Tokyo won the 400-metre gold medal and silver in the 100 metres, and he's here for the 100 metres as well. So be interesting to see how he's tracking leading into Paris Paralympics.
Couldn't agree more about the AFL. We love it, of course, but Tamsin, why would you want to represent Richmond, Collingwood or Hawthorn, represent a suburb, rather than represent your country? Anyway.
Exactly.
Here we go. Let's introduce the field for the men's para 100 metres. In lane 1, representing Tasmania, Alex McKillop. In lane 2, from the ACT, Paralympian in the long jump, Ari Gassini. In lane 3, Commonwealth Games representative from Victoria, Anthony Jordan. In lane 4, Commonwealth Games silver medalist from the ACT, Jaden Page. In lane 5, 4-time Paralympic Para World Athletics medalist from the ACT, the White Tiger, Chad Paris. In lane 6, 4-time Paralympic gold medalist from the ACT, James Turner. In lane 7, representing Queensland, Nathan Jason. And on the outside, from New South Wales, it's Jackson Love. Men's ambulant 100. So a range of classifications here. A couple of T47s in Jordan and Page, T36 Turner and McKillop on the inside, and the Tiger in the T13 for the visually impaired athletes. They work on that baseline percentage of the world record to determine an overall winner, but we're all about the times here and probably the wind as well, because we'll get a sense of what it's looking like. Just about set, para 100. Away, held him quite a while, but Chad Paris has got a great start on his inside. It's Page and then back to Jordan, but now the Tiger starts to get into his work, and he says roar as he crosses the line in 10:63. That's a swift time for the Tiger. 10:65 is his lifetime best. The wind plus 2.4. We'll confirm the times as soon as we've got absolute confirmation. It's a wind-assisted time, but boy, Tamsin, did he get moving over the back part of the race. Didn't get the fastest start, but once he got up and running, the big muscles of the Tiger charged him down the track.
I think at the start, you know, he just popped up just a little bit. I mean, we're talking perfection here because he's still got a pretty good drive phase out of that race. You could see that by how much distance he got on Jaden Page on his inside there, but he ran smoothly in that race. He held his form and he was nice and relaxed. You can see he's got a nice lead. I love how Jaden Page also really worked hard to come through and not let Chad get too far away, and I'm sure he'll be rewarded with a fast time as well. But, you know, Chad is running so well, and he's desperate. He's absolutely desperate to get that gold medal at the Paralympics. He knows that he's got the potential. He knows that he's been the form athlete for quite a long time. He's been there or thereabouts. He's got that bronze from 2016. And you know what? Here's another one where para-athletics, he got into it as a way to keep fit during AFL off-season. So here's another one that we stole from AFL.
No Ainsley Football Club for the Tiger. He was all about running on the track. 10:62 is his time, plus 2.4. So it's inside his lifetime best of 10:65, but unfortunately a wind of plus 2.4. But what he did do was move those big legs quickly. Jaden Page, 10:82. Nathan Jason, 11:19. That was the top three from that para 100. James Turner was in 5th spot, 11.66.
Well, great race, and Paralympic year is always a year where the athletes step up and they get into shape, and we can see by that race the best thing, even though it was wind assisted, you had to have your legs turning over just as fast to get those times, and Chad Paris and Jaden Page on their home track have certainly delivered a great race for us.
Let's go down to Nathan, trackside.
Yeah, we've got James Turner here, everyone, and a very special presentation is about to take place because James is actually the Athletics Australia Para Athlete of the Year. We had some presentations for the ACT, Susan Hobson coming up to make a very special presentation. Congratulations, mate. As we see the presentation being made. Now, talk us through, you've got a B qualifier already. How you feel like your progression's going so far? You look quite strong there. Unfortunately, just a little bit too much wind, plus 2.4, but you seem to be progressing quite well.
Yeah, had COVID earlier in the year, but preparing well after that. Feeling good, working on my technique at the moment. Focusing more on the 400, so we'll see how the 100 goes.
And what does it mean? Obviously, some great names have won this award before. Obviously, the ACT as well. There's been a lot of locals who've won some Athletics Australia awards, but particularly this Athletics Australia Para Athlete of the Year. What does it mean to receive this award here today?
It just goes to show that all the hard work that not only myself, but all the staff here at the AIS and at ACTAS, my coach, all my training partners have helped me with, it's all paying off. I can't do this alone. Even if I'm out on the track by myself, it's a huge team that supports me, and I'm really grateful to have that support to be able to do what I do.
It certainly is. And talk us about what's on the schedule coming up. There's some international exposure as well. You travelling overseas soon?
Hopefully I'll be going to Kobe in May this year, if I get selected on the team. And then hopefully Paris. So looking forward to that. Very good.
James Turner, ladies and gentlemen, your Athletics Australia Para Athlete of the Year. Put your hands together. He's done a terrific job here today. Unfortunately, the winds, we like good conditions. Sometimes it's too good here in Canberra, but hopefully it dies down a little bit later on for the 100-metre events coming up.
I can tell you on the baseline system, James Turner, in fact, his time was 100.51, so in excess of that world record 11.66, then Paris and Page. So they were the top three in terms of the rankings once you look at the world records, but they were very fast, and that is got me a little bit excited, Tamsin, for what we're about to see a little later when we've got two really strong hurdles races. Liz Clay, Sasha Zoya in the women's and men's respectively, Tori Lewis, of course, in the women's 100, and Azzopardi and Despard going around again in the men's 100. So we've got a bit to look forward to there.
Well, the first few races have certainly set the tone, haven't they? We've seen Sarah Carley run a fabulous season best, and Claudia Hollingsworth just did set that track alight, like Nathan mentioned, when she broke 159 and got that A qualifier. And that was another brilliant race. And we're seeing Kayla Cuba close to her personal best. So the athletes are in shape. It is an Olympic year and a Paralympic year, so the athletes are ready to go. And this race, the 1,500 metres, shouldn't disappoint either.
Just an update on that triple jump. Kayla Cuba leading with that 13.78 meet record ahead of Takashima and then Owusu. That's the top three. As we look at the start list for the men's 1,500, Connor Whiteley probably goes in as a favourite here based on the times that he's been able to run so far this season. No Cam Myers here. Or Hunt, some of the big names from the season so far have already done a lot of racing, but there's a lot of depth and this is very open.
Well, it's an interesting race, this one, because you mentioned Connor Whiteley's personal best. He's got that 3:36 from Bankstown super fast race where he finished sixth, but he hadn't broken 3:40 before 2024. So there's a lot of athletes in this race that have a little bit more experience at that faster time. You know, James Hansen's coming back, the Tasmanian athlete. He'll be one to watch. Newly married, and got the bronze medal from the 5,000 metres at the Nationals last year.
Michael Roger, the four-time Paralympian, also in this race. And we've got a good group of Japanese athletes competing here in Canberra tonight as well. And we've got one of them here in Ejima, who's a 3:38 man, silver medalist at the National Championships for him.
And Takahashi is the Asian champion silver medalist in the 1500 metres in 2023.
QM of South Sudan, World Championship representatives, a 3:37 man as well. So when you look at the times, there's 4 or 5 between the 3:36 and the 3:38. And based on what we've seen so far this summer, Whiteley was 6th in that meet at Bankstown, the milers meet. He was 6th in Adelaide. I've had some real depth. Of course, Stewie McSwain, Jake Whiteman. We go back to this triple jump. Roberts on the runway. Currently sitting down in 7th spot, 12:09. Best so far. And she runs through. Getting back just while we've got the second about the takeoff zone. One of the reasons why they've done a lot of investigations on what's happened in Budapest, a lot of downtime in some of the field events because of that field event. You go there, there's a foul. Will having a takeoff zone make a difference to the entertainment product? Worth trialling. Anyway, introducing your field for the men's 1500. We'll focus on some of the key runners. Lane 4, hip number 4, it's Connor Whiteley, the ACT, the New South Wales champion. Hip number 5 is Abraham Guem of South Sudan, World Championship representative. First of the Japanese competitors goes with hip number 7, Yusuke Takahashi. James Hansen representing Tasmania, hip number 8. Will Lewis, hip number 9, recently returning from the World University Cross Country Championships in Oman. Hip number 10, Rikuto Ejima, National Championship silver medalist, a 3:38 man from Japan. And Michael Roger, the 4-time Paralympic representative, wears hip number 13. So 14 starters. Max Rosen from the ACT will do the pace in the men's 1500 metres. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here when you've got a more open field and you don't have some of the big names that you focus on, particularly Myers, who's often going to the front. So away they go in the 1500, 3 3/4 laps. Quite a big field. And Whiteley be easy to find because he is in the all white of the Sydney University and he's the tallest man and he's going up onto the heels of the pacemaker Max Rosen as they go through the first 100 metres.
Well, Max Rosen, the 22-year-old, taking the pace. You can tell he's taken it out really nicely here because he's stretched them out. When it's a big field, you obviously do want the pace to be on from the gun so that it's not so rough as they cross over and try and settle in and find their position, which they have done very nicely here. And it's the athlete Connor Whiteley who comes into this race full of confidence after that race in Bankstown where he's broken through to a 3:36 runner as he can be known now, and he's sitting right behind the pacer and looking smooth.
So Whiteley it is in second spot, and it's Luke Shaw, the Western Australian. He was 10th in Adelaide, the 22-year-old, ran 3:40. Musgrove of South Australia there as well. I'm just moving up on the outside of hip number 2, that's Musgrove, as they go down the back straight. And the breeze is, well, it's settled a fraction, but you can see the hair, and I wish I had that hair, that it would flash back as you dash down the back straight, and it's Guam now, the 24-year-old from South Sudan, 3:37 runner, who's moved up on the heels of the pacemaker.
He's moved stylishly up onto the heels of the pacemaker. He was the flag bearer for the Tokyo 2021 Olympics, and he looks really good there in second position, just sitting on the pace. But so does Whiteley, and you can see Luke Shaw there just slipping into the third position. And James Hansen in the red with the black shorts, having his first race back in a while over the distance, is looking good as well.
And Takahashi in the green has moved forward pretty quickly as they came down the home straight there. 2 laps to go. So it's Guam now who takes over from the pacemaker, Whiteley, then Takahashi. Back behind them is Shaw, the Western Australian in 4th spot, pretty keen to maintain touch. Just behind them is Shaw. So the top group really just trying to determine what Guam in front is going to do here. It's an interesting move from the man from South Sudan.
Well, Guam looks really smooth still out there. He's the one who's setting the pace, setting the tempo, but he looks smooth. But Takahashi, the Japanese athlete, who's probably the better of the two Japanese athletes at the moment. He's the silver medalist from the Nationals last year and Asian Championship silver medalist. So he knows how to race in a big field. He knows how to race when the pace is on. And the Japanese athletes haven't quite hit their straps yet. They've got their championships later on this year, but they come down to Australia quite a lot to try and find their feet, get their rhythm so that they can take it back. Will Lewis there is now starting to make a move. James Hansen's right there in that third position. And it looks like Connor Whiteley's starting to make a bit of a move on Guam's shoulder.
So go down the back straight for the last time, and it's a big battle here. Whiteley takes the lead ahead of Guam. Hansen's not done with yet. Lewis right behind them. Just a little stretch back to the pursuers. Will Lewis on their heels. So inside the 150. Whiteley in front. Hansen starting to make his presence felt. What have they got left as they come into the straight? Lewis looming to. Looked like Guam has run his race. Whiteley in front of Hansen and Lewis. As they come down, it's a big battle on Whiteley on the inside. Looks like the long legs are going to prevail here. And the all white of Sydney University. And Whiteley gets the win ahead of Hansen. 3:40.11, the unofficial time. That was a great race. Entertaining.
It was a fantastic race to watch, and these are the sort of races that our athletes in middle distance need to keep practicing, because this is like a championship race where pacemaker jumped out quite early, set the tempo so that there was no argy-bargy and it wasn't too rough, but then it became about championship racing, learning to be the athlete with the better tactics, holding back in certain parts, and then learning to when's the best place to make your move. And I think that Connor Whiteley will walk away being very happy with taking the win there.
Well, I think that's right. It was all about the win. The time here in the breezy conditions, we talk about being good for 800. Once you go a bit beyond that, it starts to get a little trickier here in Canberra. But it's important to get the W. When you've been racing up against those big names, the fast times it's been running, it's good to see the win. And as a vice president of Sydney University Athletics Club, I'm one of 65 of them. I'm very proud that our man has got the win, and he's with Nathan Breen.
Yeah, down here with Connor Whiteley. You've run 3 consecutive PBs this year. It's about time that run come to an end. But your first major win, would you say this is the biggest win of your career?
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. So good to come out here in Canberra, come and run here every Tuesday. So good to get out here, get a good crowd, and yeah, get the win, defend the Canberra land.
Defend the Canberra land. We talked about that New South Wales Milers meet where we had, 11? Something ridiculous under 340. You did a 336 that night. Talk to us about how exciting it is to be a part of, obviously, a squad that has so many great middle distance athletes, but this resurgence, that middle distance resurgence, that atmosphere that night, and of course, you know, you're obviously in amongst it now. You probably wouldn't have put yourself in that position 12 months ago, but you are right in the thick of it.
Yeah, no, it's been a great 12 months. Good bit of work, and Jai and Cam and Rory and the other boys at training always keeping me on my toes. So yeah, full credit to them and Dick. But yeah, no, it's just been incredible to run 336. A bit quicker than I probably would have thought, but yeah, onwards to the next, I guess.
Congratulations, Connor, from Sydney University in New South Wales. Put your hands together for the Canberra Track Classic champion in the men's 1,500 metres. Well done, mate.
Thanks, Brainy. Thanks, guys.
So the official time, 3:40.09 for Connor Whiteley. In second place, season's best for James Hansen. As we look at those times down the line, 3:40.22. Will Lewis, a good run from the Victorian, 3:40.81. And then a PB for Jai Hadfield. He's worked his way up from the B races to the A races. Japanese runner Takahashi made the race interesting with a couple of laps to go with his big move. And Shaw got a little tired towards the end.
Fantastic race, and there's always little stories within the races, and you can see there James Hansen in seconds, first 1,500 metre race of the season. He'll be happy with that one as well. He fought hard to get that second across the line. So a lot to like about the men's 1,500 metre depth in Australia at the moment, leading towards those Paris Olympic trials, which is going to be quite nerve-wracking for the athletes on the start line, but it's going to be sensational for us as fans watching on.
Yeah, coming in Adelaide. If you haven't booked your tickets, get there and enjoy the Senior and Junior Championships, of course, presented by Chemist Warehouse, Australia's largest pharmacy retailer with over 8,000 staff, and they're a fantastic supporter of athletics in Australia. As we saw overnight. In fact, earlier this morning with Nicola Ollerschlagers, the Australian team members competing in World Athletics events proudly wear the Chemist Warehouse brand on their national team kit in recognition of the retailers' significant support of the sport. That started last year. It's continuing this year, and they were on the Australian top of Nicola Ollerschlagers as she soared over 199 on the third attempt to become the world indoor champion. Men's 400, Tamsin, next event on the track, and well, Reece Holder, I haven't seen much of him, I have to be honest, the World University silver medalist who set that fantastic personal best of 44.79, Olympic qualifier. He goes from the middle here. Luke Van Rattingen, the Australian champion on the outside, and Aidan Murphy, who is the Australian under-20 record holder. But Reece Holder, what a run at the World... We saw that time at the World Uni Games and we thought, hang on, what? 44.79? Really?
Total double take, right?
And it was awesome too. He almost got the gold medal, and he had a fantastic run there.
Well, it was brilliant. And, you know, watching Reece come through the junior ranks, you knew that he's a star. You knew he just had that star power. So to see him run that, there was that shock of him doing it there and then, because it was a big jump forward. But not so much a shock that he did it, because he is a super talent. And this race is one of the races of the night, because you've got Alex Beck, who's won multiple national medals, fantastic athlete, the physiotherapist from Queensland, against Reece Holder, the youngster, and Aidan Murphy, the 20-year-old. His mum, Tanya Van Heer, represented Australia. He's been a fantastic 200-metre runner, won the national championships, the Open National Championships as a junior in 2022, has fabulous personal best, is the Australian under-20 record holder over that 200 metres. And I like that he's running the 400 metres here at this time of the season. It's going to be a tough ask from the outside lane in lane 8, but he can use that speed and he can really put a lot of pressure on the rest of the field. And the 2022 national champion, who was a bit of a shock winner, Luke Van Rattingen, he has kept up his ledger by coming back and being in great form.
Introducing your field for the men's 400. Meet record here should be mentioned, held by the late Daniel Batman of 45.02, set in 2003. And we remember you, Batty, as one of Australia's great athletics characters. In lane 8, from South Australia, the Australian under-20 record holder, Aidan Murphy. In lane 7, the Australian champion from New South Wales, Luke Van Rattingen. In lane 6, representing France, Tokyo Olympian Ludovic Usini. In lane 5, silver medalist at the Australian Championships from South Australia, Harrison Hunt. In lane 4, World University Games semi-finalist, the 5th fastest Australian all time, with that personal best of 44.79 from Queensland, Reece Holder. In lane 3, fastest in Australia this summer from the ACT, Nick Donaldson. In lane 2, world champ semi-finalist from Queensland, Alex Beck. And on the inside from New South Wales, former all-schools champion, John Gikas. There's the lineup. 400 metres, one lap of excitement. So Holder, what's he got, Tamsin? He's got a good runner on his outside, Harrison Hunt, and he's got a good runner behind him in Donaldson, who's got that fastest time of 45.70 from Canberra in October.
There's all the athletes coming at this with different potential and different ways they run it, so it's going to be a fascinating way to watch their tactics play out.
Just about ready, 400. So away they go, and on the outside it'll be Aidan Murphy who leads the way. Van Rattingen can get a good side on him. Then Usini. Hunt has begun, well, just okay. Holder's right behind him, and they've opened up a gap to Donaldson, Beck and Gikas as they go down the back straight. So on the outside, they have gone out fast, but now Holder starts to move, and he's really flown as he enters the 200-metre mark.
Holder's running really well, but Alex Beck, the senior athlete in lane 2, he is flying around that bend.
Plenty of chances if they come into the straight here. So Beck, Holder on the outside, in the inside of him, and then Usini, and on the outside Van Rattingen and Murphy. So they come down the stretch here. Beck still in front. Holder fighting. They're all swimming a little bit. Van Rattingen, who is going to win? Van Rattingen on the outside, maybe just ahead of Beck. What a race. Holder was swimming. He needed to be down at the pool. It's about 100 metres away. He was doing freestyle. Usini was in it. But Van Rattingen The Australian champions finished strongly. I think he got up ahead of Beck on the inside. I didn't know where to look, left, right or centre.
Wow, that was just a great race, and it didn't disappoint. We knew before the race nobody could pick a winner as such because the form they've brought in has been great, but nobody has made that, put their hand up and gone, well, I'm the form athlete to beat. Brilliant race. It was Alex Beck working really hard around that third 100 around the bend. He got himself into a great position to pounce and strike coming down the final straight. Held his form really well. Alex had a great leg in, they ran some 4x400s on the weekend because we're trying to get our 4x4s qualified for those Olympics. He had a fabulous split in his 4x4 on the weekend, so we knew he was in shape and he didn't disappoint then. But the shock was a little bit Luke van Radingen because he did come from nowhere in that front straight. He was quite a bit down coming off that bend, held his form beautifully, and he's a force to be reckoned with in this 400 metres. 22 national champion last year, and that was just brilliant.
So personal best for Luke van Ratingen, 45.57 ahead of Beck, 45.60. That's a great run for Alex. That's moving him back in the direction that he wants to be. Nick Donaldson, 45.76, the season's best. All of these fastest times we've seen in Australia so far this year. Holder, 45.97, Gikas, 46.23. So there was a lot of action there.
And Reece Holder will get better for that run because you could see when he came out of the blocks, he's just a little bit messy with his technique at the moment. And he's still super young at 21 years of age. And once he cleans that up a little bit, he'll finish stronger because he won't have to he won't exert so much energy with that technique that he's got with his arms a little bit out, elbows out a little bit wider. But he just got a little bit tired in the last 30 metres and he'll be better for that run.
So earlier, before the main program got underway here, we saw the men's 400 hurdles. So let's take a look at that action now. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the field for the men's 400 metre hurdles. Commencing from the outside, the 17-year-old from New South Wales, fourth at the Commonwealth Youth Games, Matthew Hunt. In lane 7 from the ACT, second at the National Championships, Angus Proudfoot. In lane 6, the 23-year-old from Western Australia National Championship finalist, Joshua Hook. In lane 5, from Victoria, silver medalist at the National Championships, Connor Fry. In lane 4, from New South Wales, good PBs so far this season, this is Thomas Hunt. In lane 3 from New South Wales, former Australian under-20 champion, Bryce Collins. In lane 2, from a World Junior Championship representative from Queensland, Cole Bennett. And on the inside, from New South Wales, Rowan Laurenday. The lineup, men's 400 hurdles. Bit breezy down the back straight here, Tamsin, and that's going to cause some difficulties.
Definitely, and they'll be looking at changing their stride patterns between those back straight hurdles, but they'll have it with them in the front straight, which will help.
Well, I'll tell you, in lane 4, Thomas Hunt, he's an accountant, so he should be able to count his strides at the very least. Connor Fry in lane 5 in the yellow top, probably the favourite here. So away they go. One of the two Hunts, the Hunt brothers, leads them away. That's Matthew on the outside, Proudfoot behind him, Joshua Hook going pretty strongly. Connor Fry's gone out conservatively. In fact, they're maintaining their stagger as they go down the back straight. Hunt, then back to Collins, Bennett and Laurenday, Tamsin. But as they go down the back, pretty even. Fry now starting to move into his work.
Yeah, it looked like Josh Hook in lane 6 went out really quickly at the start for the first 150, but Connor Fry worked pretty hard in the back end of that back straight, and he's into his running now.
So Fry is going to lead them up as they come around to the top of the straight with 3 barriers to go. Hunt starting to move into it, and on the outside, Proudfoot running strongly. So now Hunt moves alongside Fry. The barriers start to get taller, but he's a big man, Tom Hunt. And he comes down, little stagger there. Proudfoot goes sideways and Hook flashing home, but it's going to be Thomas Hunt who takes the win really tight for second and third. Maybe Hook just ahead of Proudfoot, but Thomas Hunt, that's a strong run from the accountant from UTS in Sydney. So the result of that men's 400 hurdles was a PB for Tom Hunt to kick things off here. Ahead of Proudfoot, just got home in front of Hook, and Fry got tired as they came into the home straight. But the 50.33 was a good run from the man from New South Wales, Thomas Hunt. So a couple of sprint hurdle events coming up. And we're going to start with the women's 100-metre hurdles. There's the results of that men's 400 with the personal best for Luke van Rattingen. 45.57 is a good improvement for him. Alex Beck, season's best, and then Donaldson, a season's best as well.
And with 4 athletes under that 46, you're starting to look at a relay team that has potential heading to those world relays that could be, you know, a team that could make that Olympic later in the year.
Michelle Jeniker's at the World Indoor Championships in Glasgow, so not here for this one. But still, Liz Clay, who won in Melbourne, is alongside Michelle Harrison, Kiyama of Japan, a late scratching, and Danielle Shaw, who's still got the fastest time in Australia this year, that came here in Canberra on that Australia Day long weekend at the ACT Championships with that 13.01 from Ringwood Athletics Club, which is also my favourite, along with Sydney University, Abby Tadeo. That's the start list, but Clay in lane 4.
Wasn't it brilliant to see Liz Clay back at the Maury Plant meet and having a win, because she's had a really tough 2 years since she broke that foot at the World Championships, and we saw those devastating shots coming out of Eugene, Oregon, where she hit the track. But she's worked so incredibly hard on her rehab, big rehabilitation too, 2 surgeries, 3 months apart. We're talking about an athlete who just missed the final of the Tokyo Olympics. She's a quality athlete, and it's an Olympic year, so it's good to see her back.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lineup in the women's 100-metre hurdles. In lane 2 from New South Wales, World University Games semi-finalist Imogen Breslin. In lane 3, Commonwealth Youth Games champion from New South Wales, the 17-year-old Dalta Amazovsky. In lane 4, Olympic semi-finalist, winner of the Maury Plant Meet hurdles from Queensland, Liz Clay. In lane 5, World Championship semi-finalist from Canada, Michelle Harrison. In lane 7, World Junior Championship semi-finalist and fastest in Australia this season from Victoria, Danielle Shaw. And in lane 8, twice a World University Games finalist from New South Wales, Abby Tadeo. The lineup, women's 100 hurdles.
Well, another event that has a lot of depth in it leading to these Olympic trials. They'll be wanting to get a good race out here.
So Sally McLennan she was then. Sally Pearson, meet record holder 12.72 back in 2008 before Did You See Me? Did You See Me? She won that Olympic silver at the Bird's Nest. Clay the one to watch here in lane 4, the arm sleeve. Away they go, and Clay got a good start then, didn't she? She leads Harrison and Amadrovsky on the inside, and on the outside, Danielle Shaw going pretty well. But Clay it is. She's out in front. Harrison starting to challenge at her now, getting forward, but Clay gets the win ahead of Harrison and Shaw. The time 13.10 into a headwind.
Yeah.
Where's the headwind come from?
Yeah.
It's only a little one, 0.02, but Liz Clay, 13.10.
You can see from the shake of the head from Liz, she's disappointed with that time. She's disappointed that their race was the one that got the headwind. But, you know, I think when she looks back on it, and hopefully she understands right now that to have a healthy body and to be getting across the line first is such a good start to the 2024 Olympic campaign, because getting those wins is the first thing that she needs to do, and that was still a smooth race. She got a good start, but not the best start I've seen Liz get. You saw Abby today on the outside lane, I think just got away a little bit quicker than Liz, but she held her form really well through the hurdle phase. We're talking about an athlete who just needs to keep getting the races under her belt.
You know what, I thought if she combines what she did in Melbourne and what she did here, she's going to have a really good race, because the back end of the race here was not as good as it was in Melbourne, and the start was probably better.
Yep.
So she just started to, it's hard to overstride in the hurdles, but she just got a little forward, just overbalanced a fraction as she came off a couple of those hurdles late in the race. But the time of 13.09 is now official, and Harrison in second place, 13.17, and Danielle Shaw, 13.21, the Victorian in third spot. So Nathan is downstairs and he is with our winner, Liz Clay.
Yeah, 13.10 unofficially. Still a very impressive run, Liz Clay. Not what you wanted today. Slightest of headwinds. It's turned around. Luck didn't go your way, but you still must be pretty impressed with how you've been going and your return to your Tokyo form.
Oh yeah, I think I'm super disappointed with that time. Like, I'm in really good shape and I had a good feel about today, and that's just, yeah, I'm in way better shape than that. So, but you have to do it on the day. So yeah, wasn't my race.
Certainly, and talk us through, like obviously you're trying to get race regular. What's the importance of that for you, and what's coming up as we build into a big Olympic campaign?
Yeah, I think I've been working on so many things with my technique in the off season. So for me, it's about getting race practice, doing these new things, and I'm sure I'll look back on today and see some really good things in there. But at the end of the day, it is about the time, and it wasn't there today, so disappointing.
There's also world ranking points too, but obviously ACT, we hope next time you're back, it'll be a plus 2.0. I reckon the luck will be in your favour next time. Congratulations, Liz. Well done. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
So 13.09 was the time for Clay. Harrison 13.17, and then Shaw. Today a good run, 13.49. Hamazovsky 13.51, and then Breslin.
You know, Liz is looking at this race in a light where she's trying to hit sub 13 seconds and make that Olympic final. But if you look at the athletes behind and their personal bests, sometimes that tells more of a story. And so I think Liz isn't far away from being back to that form of old that we know that she can do. And I just think it's so wonderful that she's out there and her body's pain-free and she's competing.
Men's javelin athletes will be throwing from left of screen to right, so they'll have a little tailwind if it returns. And the field includes Corey Anderson, the F38 Paralympic and a world champion. Hamish Peacock, Commonwealth Games medalist and Olympian. Lucy Sosay, New Caledonia Pacific Games silver medalist. Nash Lois, the Queenslander, world under-20 champion back from 2018. And Arai of Japan. Cruz Hogan, unfortunately, the Western Australian, who was in and then was out and then was in and now he's out. So obviously not 100% is Cruz. So the big Western Australian. We'll keep an eye on that javelin.
Well, there's a lot to like in that field still, even with the dropout of Cruz Hogan. Corey Anderson, gold at the 2019 World Para Athletics Championships. You said the Toowoomba athlete, fourth in Tokyo, would be desperate to get on that podium at the Paralympics. Hamish Peacock, it's good to see him still out here competing, the 33-year-old from Tasmania. Silver at the World Youth, would you believe, back in 2007.
Nash Lois, he burst onto the scene, didn't he, when he won that World Junior Championship in 2018. Won the Pacific Games in Honiara at the end of last year, 80-metre man. And there's Corey Anderson. Women's triple jump, we'll give you an update on that in a moment. But if you're preparing to experience running the way I do, then you should wear the Perfuma Velocity Nitro 3. Perfect training partner, fueled by Nitro, providing enhanced cushioning for everyday runners. The upgraded Velocity Nitro 3 has 2 millimetres more nitro foam, creating the perfect training partner for each and every run type. And why are you laughing?
Because I'm just thinking about what you just said about for you and your marathon training. How are you going with your marathon training, Colbert?
You know what? I just put one foot in front of the other. That's what I do. Distance running. Part Kenyan I am.
What's your marathon personal best? Just
3:43. I've run one. That was a long time ago, so I don't think I can do that again.
It's actually quite good. 3:43.
Yep.
Not bad.
It was the Sydney Olympic test event, and I'm still unhappy that I didn't get picked. Like, what were they thinking? Lead troop Steve Monaghetti and Rowdy Rod de Hayden, and, you know, anyway.
Yeah, just missed the team.
Yeah. Kayla Cuba is still leading that women's triple jump, 13.78, ahead of Takashima, 13.67, and Owusu at 13.13. So we'll try and keep you up to date on those field events. Doing a few interviews today. Focus on that as well as the field. And here's this men's 110 hurdles with Nick Andrews, World Champs representative, but Sasha Zoya is the one. Wasn't able to compete in Melbourne, had an issue with the quad in the warm-up and just played it a little cautiously. Jacob McCrory, World Champs representative, They're the top ones here.
It's fantastic to have Sasha competing, isn't it? You know, finalist at the World Championships last year, the gold medalist in that record time at the World Under-20s, and born in Subiaco. Began his aths here, aged 8, so fantastic that he's here competing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the lineup for the men's 110 metre hurdles. In lane 3, from New South Wales, World Championship representative Nick Andrews. In lane 4, 1369 man from Japan, the 20-year-old Tetsuro Nishi. In lane 5, World Under-20 record holder, lifetime best of 13.15, representing France. Please welcome Sasha Zoya. In lane 6, World Champs representative from New South Wales, Jacob McCrory. And in lane 7, from Queensland, Sam Herwood. Men's 110 hurdles, meet record here. Colin Jackson, 13:41 from 1993. Sasha, its time is up.
Well, Colin Jackson, what a name. What a name to throw out there when we're mentioning 110 metre hurdlers that have been on this track. Absolutely sensational name in men's high hurdles. But I think Sasha Zoya is one of the athletes who would be hoping to get his name remembered like Colin's.
Well, loved watching him run, Sasha, when he was racing Australian scene, competing in Perth as a junior, setting national records all the way through, now representing France. He's in the middle, white armbands, Andrews in 3, Corey in 6. The dangers.
Oh.
So it was on the outside, Sam Herwood. He's going to have to build a strong case to try and wriggle out of that one.
Maybe he should talk to Clava from
the
World Indoors 400.
400.
Go with that one.
I'm still, of course, Funky Bowl and Clava, the two favourites for the medals in the 400 at the World Indoors, and she looked like she broke for all money, but managed to wriggle out with a yellow card. But I think Sam's in trouble here, and he's on his way off. So we're down to 4.
Oh, such a shame, because for Sam, 22 years of age, had a really tough year last year. So I think it was nice to have him back for a moment, but at least when he walks away, hopefully he just can see at least he's in shape, he's not injured, and he'll fight another day next race.
So it's Andrews in 3, Nishi from Japan in 4, Zoya of France in 5, McCrory, New South Wales in 6. What can he do here, Sasha Zoya? Has run 13:45 in Perth a couple of weeks ago. After the Maury Plant meet, he was able to just test the legs, but I think he'll be looking for something faster here. Wind still a little sideways. Just about set. Men's high hurdles. So clean start this time, and Zoya bounced out promisingly. He leads over the first few. Andrews on the inside and McCrory running well, then back to Nishi. Zoya is in front. Andrews running well. In fact, now he hits that hurdle. Zoya zooms away, and Sasha, 13:51. Minus 0.7. It's a conundrum, the breeze here, but that was impressive. It was hot work. It was thirsty work for Sasha Zoya.
Someone just threw him a drink and he's opened it straight away. 110 hurdles takes it out of you. He caught it. It was actually an incredible catch. What a smooth mover down the track Sasha Zoya is over those hurdles. You know, we talked about him getting into athletics at the age of 8. He followed his sister into athletics, was a good pole vaulter, just a talented athlete. And if you watch this race, look how smooth he is over those hurdles. He really drives that lead leg down and pushes off it to get those steps between the hurdles, and just no wastage over the top of the high hurdles, and just a brilliant, brilliant mover. And that's where he gets that extra time.
And popular too, no doubt about that. He's a big name in world athletics, but he's a popular name in Australian athletics, and he does say that he's kind of feels like he's representing everyone, but he is French and will compete under the tricolour in Paris. He's going to be outside the meet record here. So 13:50. He got close. What was it? 13:41. That minus 0.7. Nishi 1384's run a personal best from Japan. So well done to Tetsuro and McCrory 1389. And just as I said, Andrews was having a good race. He hit the hurdle and that put an end to his. So I apologise to you, Nick.
Well, it's great to have him back here on Australian soil. Born and raised in Perth, now racing for France. We won't hold that against you. 13.51 unofficially. You said you're happy with your start. Talk us through that race.
I was happy with the first start. That was a false start. So that's just unlucky. But then, look, the race was nice. I don't know, there was a bit times where the hurdle was a bit weird, or my technique over the hurdle was weird, but that's what we're here for. Correct the stuff later on and then get it ready for the European season.
Yeah, you obviously got some big goals. European season, have you sort of mapped out what you want to, what Diamond Leagues and what events you want to target yet?
Still having a look at them now, but the more competitions, the better. I need the race experience if I want to hit it out at the Olympics with those other guys. So yeah, try and get the highest level meets and run with the best guys and then progress like that.
Well, congratulations. You've got plenty of fans here waiting for you. It's great to have you back here in Australia. It's an absolute privilege. Sasha, thanks for coming.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being back. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Well, the best thing about Sasha Zoya, if he does run well in Paris and gets on the podium, is he's going to do his interview with an Australian accent. and the Parisians are going to be totally befuddled. So Zoya, 13.50 PB for Nishi and McCrory. And Andrews has got the DQ as well. He must have run out of his lane when he smashed into the hurdle with about 6 to go.
Well, Nishi, the Japanese athlete, will be really happy with that personal best. The 20-year-old who's fresh off a great run when he finished second in Christchurch. Now, Kayla Kuba.
So currently 13.78. That was in the opening round. I think the wind has turned a little sour here as well. In fact, we've had some minus 2.3s and 2.5s. In fact, a minus 2.6 from Claire Roberts in this round. So that wind is that is not good news for our sprinters coming up with Tori Lewis. And so Cuba, you can see waiting for this wind here.
So look at that scorecard by Kayla Kuba. It's 13.78, close to her personal best. Another couple of 13-metre jumps. Her foul was a great jump as well. Just a little bit flat in that step phase. You know she can reach it at that step phase out just a little bit more.
In the men's, it's Yamashita of Japan, 15.88 ahead of Wood and Glue. The Victorians, we lost a few of the triple jumpers. They all went to, the men went to New Zealand last week for Christchurch, and so Conley, Hinson and Connor Murphy all deciding that the trip over there was a bit too much, so not lining up here in Canberra. So we're concentrating on the women's triple jump, and Cuba, so she's leading from Takashima, 13.67, and then Owusu. Men's javelin. So Rise opened with 72.80, and Lois, who's on the runway now, 67.78. In fact, this is Sosai. Felici Vahu Sosai.
It's a bit confusing there, wasn't it? A shorter run-up for the French athlete.
So 65.89 on the opening round for him. So Rye leading at 72.80 ahead of Peacock and Lois halfway through the second round.
So we see the women's 400-metre runners walking around the track to the start line. Ellie Beer, of course, fresh off that personal best, which she was ecstatic about, just to break through those cobwebs of having a personal best as a junior 16-year-old, and then finally breaking through and getting that personal best after a few years. She's in shape. She's ready to go. She wants to make another Australian team. It's hard to believe that Ellie is still so young.
So as they do make their way round, we've got the men's wheelies 800 before we get to that flat 400 for the women. And we've got a good field here in the para 800 wheelchair event, mainly T54s, along with Warwick Holmes, the youngster from New South Wales, 2:34. So there's the lineup. So it's Ryan and Rizzo. He's been in good form. Sam Rizzo actually went to Dubai last week for a Para World Grand Prix event and broke Kurt Fernley's 1500 metre Australian record, which was the world record at the time. So he's been in really good form. And Sam Carter on the outside, 2 times para medalist at the Commonwealth Games. Reid McCracken actually broke the Australian 400 and 800 metre record in Dubai in the T34 category. Not racing here, but they're in good form, and that, of course, is in the lead up to the Paralympic Games.
It's a strong Paralympic team. We've mentioned a few names, but there's a lot more to come for these Paralympians. But in this race, unfortunately, we've lost Luke Bailey, who probably better known as a 100-metre runner, the sprint, the start king. We still have Sam Carter and Sam Rizzo, as you mentioned, who've been going very, very well. Sam Carter, the 32-year-old, born in Toowoomba as well. There's been a few Toowoomba athletes competing well this afternoon. Won that bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games in 2022 in the 1500 metres. Sam Rizzo, the 23-year-old, his coach is here watching on, Rich Coleman. They met at the age of 8. He's also a good bass guitarist in his downtime.
Is he?
I believe? Yes, yes.
What's his genre? What's his specialty?
Well, now you're pushing me.
Come on, Tamsin. You're the queen. You're the queen of the tales. If you're going to tell a story, you've got to know the full story.
Well, he's a bass
Is
guitarist.
it dun 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 dun?
Listen, he's 23 years old. He plays the cool young stuff.
Okay. All right. Not quite ready for the introduction of the wheelies in the 800. A little bit more research from you for next time, please. That wind, it's upset me, I have to say. It started up with so much promise, and then all of a sudden, and I was talking to Matty B, Matt Beckenham, of course, 400-metre hurdler, coach extraordinaire now, and he was not expecting it to change that much. Thought it might drop, but not turn around into a 2-metre. The Willies have just gone off on a warm-up lap now, so they're not due back. A formation lap, I think they call it in the wheelchair racing. As we go back to this men's javelin, that's fluttering away.
That looked a bit better from Hamish Peacock, the Tasmanian.
So round 3 in 70-60, he's in second spot, that second round throw. Women's triple jump, I think we're in the final round now.
He has, Hamish Peacock has 2 Commonwealth Games medals, that bronze from 2014, where he went with his brother, Hugh. Hugh's a hammer thrower. They were coached by their father, Evan, throwing family. Also got a bronze medal, did Hamish in 2018 at his home Commonwealth Games. Got a silver, so talented thrower for such a long time. Was unlucky to miss a World Championship final too in an incredible competition.
So Rai from Japan, who's leading with 75-68. Back to the women's triple jump, final round here. And Zoe Edwards on the runway. There's the standings. Cuba still leads from Takashima and Owusu. So I think we're just about ready now after the wheelies have had a recce lap of the track. Kwamba Al Akatari of Victoria there in lane 5. Holmes, the youngster from New South Wales, on his inside, and then go back to Rizzo, Ryan, and then on the outside, Carter goes from lane 7. still not ready for a start here. I think whenever you see someone on the walkie-talkie, Tamsin, it's an indication that things might not be quite ready. And there's, I think the collective noun for officials would be, in this point, a worry of officials. There's a worry of officials down there near the start line, and they are busily talking as we look at Boras in the triple jump, who runs through. So the wind tricky.
The collective noun, worry.
I reckon we might have a little issue with the electronic timing at the moment, because there's a new cable coming out, and that's normally an indication that we might have a little malfunction. Owusu on the runway in the triple jump, 13.13, her best so far. 22-year-old, coached by Andrew Murphy. Won the Australian title last year. And once again, another big battle with Kayla Cuba. Then she went to the World University Games, finished 6th with 13.49. But really hard for the jumpers when you start off with a nice tailwind and then the wind turns in the middle of the competition. You just kind of feel like it's not going to be possible to jump as far as you already have. But Owusu, 13.13, should be able to improve on that, and that's not bad.
She went for that, didn't she? You could tell on the runway she meant business then. She really upped the tempo, and her speed was great. It's a fantastic jump. Had to control that speed.
So she's in third spot, 13.67 is what Takashima has launched so far. Breeze has sort of just settled down a fraction. You can see Takashima wants to go, get out of the pit. That's you can tell when the athlete's doing that, they're still raking the pit at the other end, and she is saying, hurry up, get on with it, smooth enough for me, let me go. Kona's still in the way, and she's waiting a little anxiously to get things underway here. 13.40 for Owusu, so improves distance but not place, so she stays in third.
It's good competition.
So Takashima, can she close the gap here? 13.78, that meet record of Kayla Cuba. World Championship representative again now. She was keen to go, but the breeze is just, there's a windsock just to the right of our camera shot there. It's blowing directly back in her face, so she won't be happy with what she's seeing there. It's about 20 metres in front of her. Okay, so she did a good job there of managing the breeze, and it's not a bad jump. Not sure if it's going to be the 13.78 she needs. We've got one jumper to go in this competition. You can see the windsock. So we wait for the distance for Takashima. Cuba, who collected the win in Adelaide, was defeated by Owusu in New Zealand, so it's going to be 2-1 after their 3 head-to-heads so far this season, and there's her scorecard. Pretty consistent, really. And Takashima, 12.84. So Cuba's got the win here. Can she improve on that meet record of 13.78, which she set in the opening round?
Kayla was really disappointed last year with the national championship result and how she jumped personally, and her and Stacey have done a lot of work together in Queensland. Desperate to hit that 14-metre mark.
I think both of them last year at the Nationals went in with such high expectations that they didn't quite, got a little tense. Here we go, Cuba, final round, women's triple jump. Good on the board again.
Oh.
And just didn't quite maintain the speed as she got through, did she?
It was that step phase, you know, when she landed the step into the jump, just jarred a little bit. Like, the triple jump is so difficult because you need to have that speed on the runway. I think it looks like one of the most difficult events to control. You need that pace, but then you have to hold the pace and control it through the phases. And your knee and your strength through your hips and your glutes have to be really, really strong to be able to hold those phases.
And if you are at Brisbane Airport with some sort of towing device and you're loading a car onto it, that's the man there. And I'd really ask you to show some compassion and just say, look, he had to come down and coach his athlete, who's the best in Australia, who won the meet here, and maybe just drop it off at his house. So anyway, Kayla Cuba wins the women's triple jump with a meet record 13.78. Takashima in second, 13.67, and Owusu in third place, 13.40. We're going to take a little break here, not too far away. We will get the wheelchair 800 underway. Hope you're enjoying the action. Canberra Field and Track Classic of 2024, powered by Chemist Warehouse. Welcome back to the Chemist Warehouse Summer Series. Canberra Track Classic. Kayla Cuba winning the triple jump there with that meet record. Second meet record we've seen after Claudia Hollingsworth. Boy, oh boy, what an 800 that was. Takashima in second, Owusu. And then the results down the line for the women's triple jump. But those two Olympic qualifiers in the 800. The highlights so far. Not too far away from that 800. I think they've sorted out a little issue with the photo finish and a recalcitrant cable that wasn't quite ready for its work. So we head back to the men's javelin and our visitor from Japan. He's an 86, 83 man from 2014. 32 years of age now. That's a lot of height, and that's a big throw. I think that's going to be an improvement on the 75-68 we've seen so far. Olympic finalist, 7-time the Japanese national champion. Finished 11th in Rio. 3 times over 82 metres last year. In fact, 3 times he threw 82.21 last year. He was 5th at the Asian Games.
Well, here we go.
I think we might be ready for an 800. I'll hold my breath when the gun goes off to see if the clock starts. But here's the lineup for the 800 metres. So photo finish back in action, and we introduce the field for the men's wheelchair 800 metres. In lane 5, representing Victoria, Kwamba Ali Aktahari. In lane 4, from New South Wales, T34 athlete Warwick Holmes. In lane 3, from Victoria, Commonwealth Games representative trained by Richard Coleman, he is Sam Rizzo. And in lane 2, from New South Wales, Cormac Ryan. 4 pushers ready to go, men's 800. So away they go in the 800 wheelchair. And we lost Sam Carter, actually, who was there in the warm-up and did a lap of the track beforehand, but didn't actually start. So not sure what happened to him, but we've got 4 in this. It's Al-Qatari, Holmes, Rizzo, as we mentioned, Commonwealth Games representative, and in great form, breaking that national record of Kurt Fernley's in Dubai at the Para Athletics Grand Prix.
Well, it's Sam Rizzo out in front. He's taken the lead. He means business here, you can tell, from Cormac Ryan, who is sitting there in the 2nd position. But Sam Rizzo, the 23-year-old Victorian, coached by Rich Coleman, Commonwealth Games competitor in 2018, alongside the great Kurt Fernley.
So they've got a big gap. Rizzo, then Ryan, and back to Aktahari and Holmes. Aktahari just moving up on the outside of Holmes as they go through the start-finish. But have a look at Sam Rizzo go down the back straight. Sight set on Paris Paralympic Games. And he is moving very strongly. He's opened up a big gap back to Cormac Ryan. And he is improving with every push of the wheel as he comes into the straight here. And this is going to be an impressive effort from Sam Rizzo. We know he's in good form. We know he's been able to beat Kurt Fernley's Australian record over 1,500 metres, which was the world record at the time. And he comes down to the line here, a convincing winner in the Wheelies 800. He has won this one by the best part of 50 metres. In second place, it's Cormac Ryan. Those arms are getting a little heavy as he comes down to the line. He will finish in second place. Akhtar is going to get third ahead of Holmes in the Wheelies 800.
Well, it was a great push by Sam Rizzo. T54 athlete, 23-year-old. It was tough out there when you do get your time, your start time pushed back. It is a little bit more. But it's also good practice leading into races that you'll be doing overseas and for championships when things can possibly happen and the start time is different. You've practiced it here in Australia, so you know that you'll be fine. And Sam Rizzo's just had a fantastic race. It's a shame that we lost Sam Carter and Luke Bailey before the race, but these athletes have a big year ahead of them with the Paralympics, so their goal is definitely...
Meet record for Sam Rizzo, 141.73, Ryan 155.17, and Akhtar 205.97.
It's hard, isn't it? Because we've lost that timing clock on the inside field, so we weren't sure what time that Sam had. So that is a brilliant, absolutely brilliant time. We could tell from just looking at his form that he was clearly pushing for a fast time.
Plenty of things to see and do in Canberra. Let's have a little look at the taste of all that's on offer here in the nation's capital. Decided that it's had enough.
Okay, well, that's okay. We're still working, so it'll be fine. It'll create a little bit more anticipation for when we finally are able to read the times out for the athletes.
The photo finish is still working, so we've got a time. It's just that it's going to be a secret instantaneously for the crowd and us as we watch them go by, which I think may mean we don't get a time on the screen either. But anyway, it's a good field here in the 800, the women's 400, and Ali Beer. Well, what a race! You weren't in Adelaide. I know you were at a wedding, just dancing the night away. But I know you've watched the race, and Ali Beer was so impressive.
Oh, isn't she just an impressive athlete? 21 years of age, and that's really difficult to actually comprehend that she's only 21 still. She was a 4x400 metre representative at the World Champs in 2019 at just 16 years of age, and went to the Olympics in the 4x4 relay also, but 18 years old. So 6 years old, she started Little Athletics, and it's good to see her back here after a personal best in Adelaide. She's in shape for this Olympic year.
Let's introduce the field for the women's 400 metres. The meet record here, held by Catherine Freeman, 50.91, set in 2000. From the outside, from the ACT, Australian Championship bronze medalist, Helen Pretorius. In lane 7, Australian under-20 silver medalist, the 18-year-old from the ACT, Gemma Pollard. In lane 6, National Championships finalist, representing Victoria, Michaela Saladinakos. In lane 5, Commonwealth Youth Games finalist from South Australia, the 17-year-old Charlotte McAuliffe. In lane 4, Pacific Games champion, winner in Adelaide in a personal best of 52.25 from Queensland, Ali Beer. In lane 3, Australian champion, representing Victoria, Jessie Andrew. In lane 2, the 17-year-old from Victoria, winner of last year's stall gift. Please welcome Bella Pasquale. And on the inside, World Under-20 semi-finalist from New South Wales, Jasmine Guthrie. Women's 400, ready to go. So Beer went out so fast in Adelaide, and Andrew was a bit surprised, really. And with McAuliffe and Solidanakos on her outside, let's watch for that. And what does Andrew do in response?
I think it's important to set the race up if you want to get an end result fast time. So I think if you've got the confidence, might as well go for it.
So on their way in the women's 400 on the outside is Pretorius, and then her ACT teammate Pollard, Solidanakos, and Beer's gone out pretty quickly past McAuliffe, Andrew, Pasquale and Guthrie. So as they go down the back straight, it is the long stride of Ali Beer, and she's really flying.
Well, she's gobbling up the stagger of all the athletes on the outside of her. Ellie Beer has really taken it to this first 200 metres. It's going to be a quick time if she can hold this form.
Well, they might have a little tailwind down the back straight now, so it'll be interesting as they come around into the final 150. So Beer it is who leads. Andrew on the outside, Solidanakos and Pollard going pretty well, but Ali Beer's got a commanding lead as they come into the straight. So can she hang on here? She got a little tired in Adelaide. She's finishing pretty strongly. So Beer, can she hang on? It's pretty tight. Solidanakos is finishing quickly, but Beer gets the win. Andrew was there, but tired a fraction as well, but it was all Ali Beer. And it's an interesting way she's running her race. She's going out so hard, and then she's just trying to hang on. And it's painful, but it's successful, and it's another win.
Well, it was fast. It was fast. Ellie Beer, you've just run a personal best of 52.14. That was an incredible, incredible run, and you deserved it after you really attacked that race from the gun. You were flying down that back straight. You put a lot of pressure on yourself with 120 to go. You could see it was starting to hurt. We can see here on the replay, it's getting a little bit like quicksand. The legs are struggling to get that knee lift up, and that is because you really attacked that race well at the start. A fantastic effort and well done on a personal best.
Well, great conditions, because Solidanakos has run a personal best of 52.62 and Pollard a personal best of 52.97. And then season's best down the stretch, Pasquale a personal best 53.89. But the first three have all run PBs here, and that's a great run from Ali Beer. 52.14.
Incredible running by Ellie Beer. Running with confidence is always very helpful. You come into a race and you're able to believe in your ability to attack it. The confidence that Ellie Beer is showing when she takes the track this season is just amazing. But Solidanakos, after running in the 4x4 mixed relay, where she probably lost a little bit of confidence with that changeover, where she just didn't quite finish the race off, she went out incredibly hard. And just got those wooden legs, and with 5 metres to go, unfortunately hit the track. But she ran a smarter race today, and she finished really strongly and was rewarded with that personal best. And I think that race in the mixed relay would have helped her run well today, because when you put yourself under so much pressure and you get to that point, it's a great training run. So well done to all the athletes out there who've run personal best, because that was a great race. It was a ripper. And Ali Beer, we've enjoyed watching her run, and she takes it on. It's reminiscent of one athlete who used to do the same thing, Catherine Freeman. Not quite a meet record, but a personal best, and Ellie is with Nathan.
Well, 52.25 in Adelaide, 52.14. The top three have set personal bests here, so you've dragged a few more along. Talk us through that race. You seem to go out relatively conservative, maybe not quite as hard as Adelaide. Then you really took off down the back straight and really made that race your own. How did you approach it?
Oh, honestly, I just went out there and just like, my main mentality is like, just have fun. Because that's the reason why we do athletics, is we do it because we love it. And normally just those two words just gets me around. But honestly, like, my coach has been telling me, just treat it like a 300 because I love my 300s at training, and then just give it all I got the last 100. But after hearing like a couple of girls getting PBs, massive congrats to them, because honestly, like that 5-year gap in between my PB, oh, it'd just be so ecstatic. Like it's just so good.
Well, it's great for all those because we know a lot of the athletes who were quality juniors and they go through that bit of a slump. You're a testament to what hard work and perseverance does, because it's not often that people with that much of a slump and haven't got a personal best for that time actually go out. But now you're thriving, an Olympic year as well.
Oh, no, exactly. Like, honestly, I couldn't be any more grateful for my team back home on the Goldie, my coach, Brett Robertson, Josh Carter, Rick, all my teammates, my family. I just have such a good support crew, and I couldn't be any more grateful. And they're the ones that got me around the track. So everyone back home got PBs as well. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Ellie Beer. If you want a role model, kids, she's the one, because you got some fans waiting for you. And 11/100ths quicker again. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I love her style. I love the way she attacks the race, and it's such a technical event, the 400, in terms of your race strategy and how fast you can go out before you absolutely become a blithering mess down the home straight. And you've got to trial it. Remember Catherine Freeman at the World Championships? Went out too hard,
95.
blew up. You've got to do that. You've got to learn, and that was a very good race indeed. This will be a good one as well. Women's 1,500 metres, and some tired legs, I would imagine. Morty Skyring, she ran the cross-country trial last night over 10 kilometres here in Canberra. Finished in 3rd place there. Jayla Hancock-Cameron has been in great form. Zoe Buckman has been to 2 Olympic semi-finals. And the visitors from Japan, headed by Arabe, Tokyo Olympian 4:07.90. Jodie McCann of Ireland. Claire Richardson's got a couple of world under-20 qualifiers over 800 and 1,500. So this is a good field for the women's 1,500.
It is a good field, and although we're missing a couple of our top line 1,500 metre runners, this is a great race for some of these athletes to try and push off each other to get that personal best. Jayla Hancock-Cameron, the 21-year-old who missed the World Juniors after winning the under-20 1,500 and the 800, has been brilliant this season.
Okay, I want you to get your stopwatch ready so that you can give us the splits here manually, old school.
Okay.
Here's the women's 1,500 metre lineup. In fact, we've got a couple of scratching, so Skyring is out. So some of the highlighted athletes. Position 4 from New South Wales Youth Olympic Games silver medalist Jayla Hancock-Cameron. In position 6 from Ireland, Jodie McCann. Hip number 7, twice an Olympic semi-finalist from the ACT, Zoe Buckman. And a couple of visitors from Japan. Hip number 8, Tomoko Kimura, World Championships representative. And hip number 10, Run Urabe, Tokyo Olympic Games representative. That's the lineup for the women's 1,500. So Skyring obviously deciding that, I thought it was a bit ambitious to run a 10K over quite a difficult course at Stromelo and then come back and run a 1,500.
I could actually see her on the hill talking to Sarah Carley, so I would have been surprised if she took to the start line here. I thought maybe she's just having a chat before the race, but usually before a race you're not that excited to be chatting. So we can see Jamie Brennan has gone to the front, the pacemaker. She'll slowly ease it back off.
So ones to watch here. Hancock-Cameron, hip number 4, back in 3rd spot at the moment. Hip 12 is Rebecca Green, the New Zealander, been a World Cross Country representative. Brennan's looking for around 2:12. Did you start your watch, Tamsin?
I
2:12.
I did.
At 800 metres.
I've got it going. I'm doing all right. I'll give you a split at 400, an approximate
Very
split,
good.
obviously, for everybody listening on. Rebecca Green, the New Zealand athlete, the 30-year-old, sorry about that, Beck. She made a national final in Australia in the 800 in 2011, so she's finding some great form later in her career. She ran a 1,500 metre personal best in Loughborough last year, so she is in great shape as well, the athlete who's in 2nd from New Zealand.
So hip number 9 is Kimura of Japan. In fact, we've got 3 Japanese athletes here. Urabe, hip 10, and Katagahara, hip number 5. The 3 Japanese athletes, all of them have competed for Japan at international competition, World University Games, World Championships and also the Olympics. But at the moment, it's Green, the New Zealander, who's out in front.
I think they went through approximately in about 105, 106. It's hard to tell because it's behind the discus cage there. But Beck Green's taken over the pacing duties, wants to make it a little bit faster. I think anytime you hit the track this year, you want to try and get a fast race out. And it's fantastic what Beck Green's doing for the field because she's spreading it out. You can see that the athlete from Japan, Kimura, who represented Japan in the 5,000 metres in the World Championships in 2019, is sitting there in the second position.
Hancock Cameron right behind her. And then you go back to Jodie McCann, who ran a good race in Adelaide. She's had 2 PBs from her 2 starts here in Australia.
Zoe Buckman there wearing the number 7 on the back of that front pack. Isn't it fantastic to see her still here competing? She's the 35-year-old who went to the University of Oregon, was a World Championship finalist. How can we forget that 2013 semi-final? She was absolutely sensational, ducking and weaving through the pack to make it through to that final.
So she's just at the back of the leading group. That lifetime best of 4:03.22. You have to go back a while, 2016, but you're right, Tamsin. It's great to see Zoe back out on the track. So it's the New Zealander, Green, who leads the way from Hancock Cameron. Then McCann from Ireland. They're the top 3, starting to just increase the pace a fraction. 2 Japanese runners behind them, and then Buckman with that distinctive style, like she's chopping up the steak, the fork and knife, busy with the arms.
She's a quiet achiever, Buckman, isn't she? She's rounding her way into the field nicely. She's an ACT athlete, so she's running on her home track. Des Proctor's now coaching her. Beck Cameron's going to come in to the bell lap, 3:07-ish.
So they get the welcome sound of the bell in the women's 1500. And it's Green, the New Zealander, Hancock Cameron from New South Wales, McCann from Ireland, Kimura of Japan, and then Buckman just really working hard to try and stay in touch as they go down the back straight.
Well, Beck Green is having to work really hard. She's done most of the work in this race, and it's Jayla Hancock Cameron who's really working up onto the shoulder of Green right now with 200 metres to go.
And I wouldn't be discounting McCann in 3rd place either. Hancock Cameron makes a move. It's been in good form, 150 to go, and it's been a strong move. Green working really hard with the arms. McCann followed by Kimura and then Buckman, but Hancock Cameron comes down with about 50 metres to go. McCann's finishing pretty strongly here. Hancock Cameron. But the Irishwoman McCann goes to the lead and takes the win. I didn't think she was done. And she found something. And McCann, who's had a great summer here in Australia, takes the win ahead of Hancock Cameron in the women's 1500.
Well, you called it. You called it with about 300 metres to go when Green and Hancock Cameron had made a bit of a break on McCann. Looked like they'd broken away from McCann, but she really held her form. This is a good lesson to anyone watching on, that you just hold your form. You never know what's going to happen in those closing stages of your 1,500 metres. And the athletes in front got a little bit tight. You can see here Jayla Hancock Cameron working really hard, and the momentum of McCann at the back end of that race was just fantastic to get herself across the line for the win. She looks pretty happy with that. Going to be interesting to see the times. It looked like it was around that 4:12 mark.
In fact, 4:14.05, the winning time for McCann. Hancock Cameron, season's best 4:14.23, and Green, the New Zealander, in 3rd, 4:15.44. Well, I didn't think she was done at about 160 metres, but I thought she was definitely done at 100 metres to go. And then all of a sudden, with 80 metres to go, she leapt out of the ground. And she was able to get up and get the win, Jodie McCann. And they are not the times just yet.
Are you going to sack me from the timing duty? I was way off.
Well,
I was like a whole second off. I got a bit excited.
No,
she was flying home at the finish.
It's better than having no time at all. But if you can do it for the 100, I'd be really impressed.
Okay.
Better than having no time at all. We've got the times. It just doesn't come up immediately. So we do apologise for that. We can't give you our immediate reaction of excitement if we see a fast one. But Jodie McCann, 4:14, ahead of Hancock Cameron, who's having a good season. Green from New Zealand, Kimura Buckman, good return for her, Urabe and Kelly.
And Green did so much of that work out there then. She was practically the pacemaker for the majority of the race, so I'm pretty sure she'll be very happy with the way that that one finished up for her in terms of a training run. She kept the pace honest and made sure that the times were respectable.
Well, Tamsin, I know when I was here back in the glory days, it used to be the private bin that would get my fancy in Canberra. There's a lot to see and do in the nation's capital. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the field for the women's 100 metres. In lane 2, representing Victoria World University Games semi-finalist Nana Owusu Afriye. In lane 3, representing Queensland Commonwealth Games semi-finalist Na Anang. In lane 4, Commonwealth Games semi-finalist from Queensland Bree Masters. In lane 5, World University Games finalist over 200 metres, representing Queensland, Christy Edwards. In lane 6, Australian Open and Under-20 record holder, the national champion. Please welcome from Queensland, Tori Lewis. In lane 7, Commonwealth Games relay bronze medalist from Victoria, Mia Gross. In lane 8, World University Games finalist from Victoria, Sam Geddes. And on the outside, the teenager from South Australia, Jordan McMillan. That's the lineup, women's 100 metres.
Well, it looks like the flags have gone still for the moment, which is fantastic news. Hopefully, great field assembled and we see a fast time.
So the meet record here is 11:16 from Sally Pearson back in 2015, which I thought might have been a chance. I'm not sure now with this win, but you're right, the flags are flaccid on the flagpole. Lewis in the middle in lane 6. Just about set. Away they go. Lewis got a pretty good start. Mia Gross alongside her. Edwards begun well. Then Bree Masters back to Anang. Now Lewis is starting to get moving. Masters running well. Lewis launches clear and gets the win. Ahead of Masters and Gross. And Tori was terrific once again.
Well, we'll wait for the time, but Tori Lewis, the youngster, Australian record holder, she's still got to come back out here now and back races up. So to get the win is still an important thing for her to do. I thought that Christy Edwards got a fantastic reaction and start then. It put a little bit of pressure on Tori. So if we watch 5 to 10, she had to work a little bit harder. She gets up and running. She's nice off the ground. But Bree Masters had a fantastic run from lane 4 in the blue there. She's holding her film really well. As you can see, this latter part of the stage for Tori Lewis is where she's so super strong. She's got a lovely forward lean and she's got such strength through those legs. It was just a brilliant finishing.
So 11:31 the time for Tori Lewis, plus 0.5. Bree Masters 11:39, Mia Gross 11:45. I think the top 3 will take something from that, and I think Nara Nang will as well, because she ran a good race, but there was a lot to like in little bits and pieces from all of them. Lewis's finish, Bree Masters ran, I think, her best race of the season so far. Mia Gross is returning to her best form. She ran a race earlier around 11:34 with a quite a strong tailwind, so she's backing up after a second run for the day. And Na was impressive as well. And now Tori, she's popular and with very good reason. At 19 years of age, Australia's fastest woman. Would have loved to have come here and run a super fast time, but a win is a win. And underneath that tent is, or near that tent, behind that tent, Nathan Breen is getting ready to have a chat with our speedster. Let's go down to Nathan with Tori.
Well, we know how important it is to perform in any conditions. When you get to the Olympic Games, when you get to World Championships, it might be cold. Obviously, great memories of this track. End of January, 11:31 today, unofficially. But talk us through that run. Looked like you had a bit of work to do at the start again, but you're still back ending your race brilliantly.
Well, the thing about this season, even though I did well at the beginning, like it was never about chasing times for me. I'm just looking for wins, really. So even though the time wasn't really fast, I'm happy I got the win, and still a lot for me to improve on.
Yeah. It's a great attitude, and obviously 11:10, that Australian record, that's must have put a little bit of confidence in spring in your step. Obviously, haven't been great conditions at meets you've done since then, but looking forward to seeing you for the rest of the season. What's the plans moving forward the next couple of months?
Like I said, just keep winning races, keep getting more points, or that Olympic qualifier if I manage to get it. But yeah, just keep running my own race and doing as best as I think I can.
It's so tough again. Another one with a huge amount of fans here. Tori Lewis, your Australian record holder, which she did at this track. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. It's great to have her here. Another one of our teenage sensations here at the Canberra Track Classic. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
It was a good win. It was an entertaining race. We've seen some competitive racing, and I love the fact that these women turn up and fight against each other week in, week out, as we saw last season, and it's happening again here. They will improve when they do that. Lewis ahead of Masters and Gross, and it was a season's best for Na, 11:51. And Christy Edwards run a great 60 metres, so she can improve on the back end of that race. She's a 200-metre runner, so that's hard when you're up against the season's competitors, but that was a good run. A couple of events to go here. Men's 100, and we'll finish with a men's 800. This is the men's 100 metres. Here is your field. In lane 2, representing Queensland, Sam MacArthur. In lane 3, from Hong Kong, Yat Lok Chan. In lane 4, Commonwealth Games representative from New South Wales, Josh Azzopardi. In lane 5, Commonwealth Games relay representative and 2018 stall gift winner from Tasmania, Jacob Despard. In lane 6, Rio Olympian from Sierra Leone, based in New South Wales, Ishmael Kamara. In lane 7, the 2017 stall gift winner from Victoria, Matt Rizzo. In lane 8, the Queenslander, Andrew Clark. And in lane 9, from Hong Kong, Wei Lun Ho. Men's 100 metres. So once again, Tamsin, no Browning here, but Azzopardi and Despard have been the ones to watch this summer.
Well, personal best here on this track for Azzopardi, that 10:15.
That Canberra Grand Prix. Unfortunately, Alex Colgan got injured that weekend, and we haven't seen him. He also ran 10:17, but Despard and Azzopardi both ran 10:15 in Canberra. They're in 4 and 5 here. Kamara on their outside. So away they go, quite a long hold. Azzopardi got a good start, Despard, and on the inside of them it's Chan from Hong Kong. Kamara's up there as well, but now they move away and Azzopardi gets the win. Impressive ahead of Kamara. A good back end of the race for Josh Azzopardi. That was an impressive final 30 metres. They were charging alongside of him and he wasn't having a bar of it. He said, see you later, I'm headed to the line. And he got the win.
It was a great run by Azzopardi. He likes this track, obviously. He's got the win, and it's like the race before. Sometimes it's not about the times once you get to this stage of the season where you've had a few races under your belt. You might be fatiguing a little bit, especially as a sprinter where, you know, you've got to have that top line peaking for those fast races. So they might have gone back into some heavier training and they're just trying to use these as some extra fitness, extra race hardness leading into those Olympic trials. Jacob Despard, he reacted okay, but then he got a little bit side to side, and so he lost that momentum, and Kamara came through him quite early. Azzopardi reacted really well. He had nice transition through that drive phase to up and running and finished really well. It was a lovely run by Joshua Azzopardi, and he was rewarded with that win.
So 10.53 for Josh Azzopardi ahead of Kamara, 10.62. Despard, I think, threw out the parachute with about 10 to go. 10.77. Rizzo, 10.78. The wind was minus 0.9, so it's been fluctuating around, hasn't it?
Well, it's interesting because the wind's suggesting that the times shouldn't be that far off that 10-1 race as such. It's a little bit more, I think, you can see the shades thrown over the front straight of the track. It's probably taken a little bit of the heat off the track. I think Canberra is known for those fast times for sprints being when the sun's beating down and you've got the tailwind. So unfortunately, our sprinters at the back end of this program have probably lost a little bit of those faster conditions that were early. However, you've still got to practice in all conditions because championship racing isn't about fast times, it's about winning races. And so Azzopardi and Lewis should be very happy to walk away from Canberra with the wins. So
let's go down to our winner, Josh Azzopardi, who's with Nathan Breen.
Well, sometimes you just got to forget about the time, and sometimes the win is the most important thing. We know you took the scalp of Rowan Browning earlier this season. Obviously, another great win. It's not easy to win a track classic. Congratulations. How'd that feel for you?
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, no, it was all right. Hit 6 o'clock and the wind came in and it started to get a bit cold. But as you said, it's all about winning races these days. So yeah, happy to get that one.
Last 30 metres in particular was impressive. 10.15 as well in Canberra in perfect conditions earlier this year with 3 of you. It's exciting prospects, isn't it? Particularly, it seems like you're dragging it along to a higher standard. Rowan and now yourself, and knowing that you can actually be competitive. What does that mean to you, and how does that help the confidence moving forward into the international season?
Yeah, it's obviously huge, especially this year with the Olympics obviously in Paris. So, yeah, I've been working on my top-end speed, and it's obviously coming into fruition at the moment. So, yeah, just happy with how everything's going and just keep going forward now.
Yeah, Rob Marks, your coach, be proud of that one. Congratulations, mate. Josh Azzopardi, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the men's 100 metres at the Canberra Track Classic.
A good win too, 10.53 for Azzopardi ahead of Kamara of Sierra Leone and Despard. Of course, we wouldn't be here without Chemist Warehouse. They are powering the Chemist Warehouse Summer Series of Athletics, Australia's largest female pharmacy retailer with over 8,000 staff. Fantastic supporter of Australian athletics, and as we are seeing here in Glasgow, the Australian team proudly wearing the Chemist Warehouse logo on the uniform. Final event of the evening is the men's 800, and the main man here is Peyton Craig. He's taken all before him, but the Australian champion Riley McGowan is rising in his form, and Charlie Hunter, the first time we have seen the Tokyo Olympic semi-finalist in the domestic season. It is hot.
It is really hot. Now, everyone's looking forward to seeing what Peyton Craig can bring to the track here, the 18-year-old. But Charlie Hunter, he's been racing indoors in the USA. It'd be interesting to see what form he's in outdoors.
Introducing our field for the men's 800. We'll start on the outside in lane 9, representing Ireland, the 3-time national champion, Paul Robinson. In lane 8, Angus Proudfoot is doing the pacemaking duties for us. In lane 7, please welcome the man who has set 2 Australian under-20 records this summer. The first of them came here in Canberra, the Queenslander, Peyton Craig. Lane 6, the national champion from the ACT, Riley McGowan. In lane 5, World University Games finalist from Victoria, Jack Lunn. In lane 4, welcome him back, Tokyo Olympic semi-finalist. Lifetime best of 1:44.35 from New South Wales, Charlie Hunter. In lane 3, World Under-20 semi-finalist, was third at the Maury Plant Meet. 2 PBs this season for Luke Boys. In lane 2, the Australian Under-20 champion, the 18-year-old from the ACT, Hayden Todd. And on the inside, World Under-20 representative for Australia from New South Wales, Lachlan Reaper. This is a good field. 2 laps, men's 800.
It's a great field. You've got the pacer, Angus Proudfoot, is going to take them through very quickly. We should get some good times for everyone in the field off this.
just about ready. No, not ready. Just been asked to stand up.
I think the athletes are struggling to hear the starter at the moment. Interesting how they've got Peyton Craig sharing a lane with Angus Proudfoot, the pacer. They've swapped positions so that he can get a faster start as the pacer. Looking forward to seeing Charlie Hunter race here. It's not his first race outdoors. He did win a New South Wales Milers Club just to get his legs, I'm pretty sure, as you get off the plane from the USA to get that time zone. Sometimes hitting a race gets those race legs over 800 metres back, ready to go a little bit quicker.
So just about ready now. So away we go, final event on the program here at the Canberra Track Classic, and on the outside it's Robinson from Ireland, our pacemaker Proudfoot moving to the lead. Peyton Craig normally likes to get back a little bit, but moving forward, Boys has gone into a prominent position as well. Hunter just moving towards the middle at the moment. Jack Lunn, pretty bunch field. Up on the inside, Lachlan Raper in the yellow, moving into a prominent position as well. But the pacemaker's out in front by quite some margin at the moment.
He is. The pace is really on. I think it's interesting how fast Angus has gone out. The athletes haven't been very interested in that, but you can see Luke Boys is starting to make up the ground. Peyton Craig's fit right in behind Boys.
In fact, Hunter's right at the back at the moment. So it's Boys who's leading the way behind the pacemaker. Then Craig has been such a fast finisher. He's much more prominent tonight. Then Lunn and Hunter. Bit of work to do for the Tokyo Olympian. He's right at the back, but they're strung out in single file as they go past the malfunctioning discus cage here, surrounded by the scaffolding with less than 300 to go.
Well, we certainly have some youth in this race. It's the 20-year-old Luke Boys out in the front. Peyton Craig is just coming up to his shoulder. You can see Jack Lunn there not giving up either. And Hayden Todd, the youngster, also there in fourth position.
He's having a great run. So this is where Peyton Craig, the youngster, really has shown his form this season. Really starting to dig deep. He rocks the shoulders from side to side. Boys in second. Lunn not done with, just looming up on the outside. But he's strong, a little like Hollingsworth earlier. Peyton Craig has a little look. I think he's going to be okay ahead of Boys and Lunn. And Peyton Craig gets another win. Time's pretty good too, ahead of Boys and Lunn in the 800.
And a fast finishing Lachlan Raper comes across the line as well. It'd be interesting to see these times. It was a fantastic race to watch. It was interesting in the fact that Peyton had to do a little bit of work at the crossover because he was sharing that lane with the pacer, Angus Proudfoot, who went out incredibly fast. They couldn't quite latch on. So then it became a proper race where there was tactics involved, and it was Luke Boys who decided he wanted to move up and try and get back onto the back of Angus Proudfoot and make that first lap at least decent so that they could get a fast time.
And he's got a PB too, Luke Boys. So 1:46.15 in second spot. The winner, 1:45.91. He's hard to get past, isn't he? Had a little look there sideways, but Peyton Craig continues his winning streak going 1:45.91. Ahead of Boys, that PB 1:46.15, and Jack Lunn 1:46.54. I like the fact that he ran a different style of race. He wasn't quite as far back, Peyton Craig. He was more up on the pace, and he took it on a little earlier than he would normally, and he ran a different style, and so he's learned something from that, I'm sure.
Well, tactically, for a World Under-20 race or an Olympics Championship heat run, that's exactly what you want to do. You know, you want to be in the business end of the race. You want to be at a point where you can hopefully attack for that win or a place to get you through to the next round. And that's what Peyton Craig did. He got up onto the shoulder of Luke Boys with 200 metres to go and attacked and then held on. He used his strength. He knows he's fit. You know, he's got that background in triathlons and he can run over the distance. We've seen him run great 1500s and above, and you know, he's strong. He's got a lot to like about his 800-metre running. So
Peyton Craig, another win for the Queenslander. We've enjoyed watching him this summer. Another one of these talented teenagers. 1:45.91 for the winner, and he is with Nathan Breen.
Yeah, fantastic stuff, and he has been a triathlete. It's hard to forget the fact that you represent Australian triathlon ends at the World Athletics Championships in the 1 year. How do you make that transition work? Before we get into your incredible summer so far, how do you make that transition work? Because you seem to have gone from strength to strength, and you are legitimate contention for the Olympic team.
Yeah, well, I've still got to give so much credit to my triathlon background. You know, just I think you can kind of see it in my running. I'm pretty strong in the back end, so definitely having that foundation from triathlons really helped my track running. But I think I really like to run fast, and that's something we've put in my training. Like to do some quick speed work, and I think it's paid off so far. You know, it's a bit of a scratchy race today, but I guess this stage of the season, not really looking to peak and just trying to get the job done. So I guess I got the job done today. So yeah.
Did it surprise you? Obviously, you broke a couple of Australian under-20 800-metre records consistently. Is that something you had confidence in before you actually did it, or did that come as a bit of a surprise to you when you did it for the first time here at the ACT Champs?
Well, certainly, like I knew I was fit. I knew I was training well. I know it was a little surprise to a lot of people, but honestly, it wasn't a big surprise to me. Like what we've been doing in training, I think perfectly represented how I ran. So I'm just stoked to be out here racing, back again. Obviously, I had all the last year off, so just being back racing is so fun, and we've had some really high quality meets here to run fast in. So yeah.
Well, it's fun to watch. Congratulations, Peyton. Onwards and upwards for here. All the best in your preparation to try and get on that Olympic team.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.
Well, it was a good win, no doubt about that. We've enjoyed watching him run this summer, and a personal best for Luke Boys was the reward for his strong work. Craig ahead of Boys, and then Lunn, Raper the season best. Hayden Todd rewarded too for his bold race, 1:48.04, and Hunter, I'm sure, will improve as the season goes on. So Tamsin, that wraps up what has been a very interesting evening of field and track here in the nation's capital, and we will go a long way to see. In fact, there's the men's javelin. So it's good to see the final results there. 77-22 for Arai ahead of Lois and Sosaya, the Frenchman from New Caledonia. Tamsin, we are going to go a long way to see a better race than we saw in the women's 800 here, with two Olympic qualifiers. Claudia Hollingsworth breaking her own Australian under-20 record. It was a meet record. It was an Olympic qualifier. It was the third fastest time ever by an Australian. And Bindiri Aboya rewarded for her Olympic qualifiers in the one race. It was, as Bruce would say, special.
It was definitely special. An absolutely brilliant 800-metre race. Lots to like about the Canberra meet. A lot of athletes running fantastic championship races. Kayla Cuba winning that triple jump, of course. And I liked the 400-metre hurdles as well. Sarah Carley has started her season off well, and Ellie Beer in the 400 metres was fantastic with that personal best.
Tori Lewis and Peyton Craig, a lot to look forward to. We are going to move to Sydney next for the Sydney Track Classic. It's towards the end of March. And 23rd, thank you. And we're really looking forward to your company then. Hope you've enjoyed the action here from the Canberra Track Classic. Nathan Breen trackside, Tamsin Manu, the rest of the crew out the back. We thank all of our athletes. Hope you've enjoyed the action. We'll see you next time.